Hey everyone, how's it going? We're back with some more Explorer and Pioneer content today, and we're playing some Mardu Greasefang. So, Greasefang is a strategy that's kind of existed in the format for a long time. It kind of goes in and out of favour, and there's kind of several different ways of building it. You can build it in Abzan, you can build it in Mardu, you can build it in Esper. So, we are going to try the Mardu version today, as that has the most kind of new cards in it. Um, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this does, just because obviously Graveyard Hate is very ubiquitous in the format at the moment, so and this deck kind of just falls apart if you can't deal with the opponent's Graveyard Hate. So it'll be interesting to see if we can kind of overcome that, and whether this deck has enough resilience. I think it'll probably win a lot of game ones, and then you kind of see where you go after that. So, for those who haven't seen this before, the idea behind the deck is essentially that you get one of these powerful vehicles, Parhelion 2 or Sky Sovereign, into the graveyard, and then you play Greasefang, Akiba Boss, which is a 4/3 legendary rat pilot that says at the beginning of combat on your turn, return target vehicle from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of your next end step. So, ideally, you're bringing back a Parhelion 2. You're crewing it with the Greasefang, and you're attacking, getting the angel tokens, doming the opponent for 13, and then even though the Parhelion goes back to your hand, the angels are left behind, and you've pretty much won the game most of the time when that happens. So yeah, that's the kind of the interaction that kind of fuels the deck, and then everything else in it is kind of just trying to build up to that. But because of the kind of advantages of running Mardu cards, we do have some pretty powerful effects by ourselves, by themselves. I mean, so we've got the 4 copies of Fear of Missing Out and the 4 Blood-Tithe Harvesters from the Demons package, and the Thought Seizes and the Fatal Pushes as the early interaction. So yeah, indeed 4 Fable of the Mirror Breakers. So a lot of these cards are good at getting cards into the graveyard. Fear of Missing Out obviously has a discard trigger when it enters. Blood-Tithe Harvester comes with a blood token. Fable of the Mirror Breaker has that second chapter, which lets you discard 2 cards. So yeah, there's lots of... These are good cards by themselves, but also let you put cards in the graveyard as well. And something like a Fear of Missing Out, if you do have Delirium, which you might often have because this is a dedicated graveyard deck, then when this is attacking, you can have additional combat steps, maybe double trigger your Parhelion or whatever it may be. So the deck does have resilience beyond its kind of core interaction, which may make it a kind of a more powerful version of the deck. We're also running the other relatively new card is Overlord of the Balemurk, so one of the Overlords, 5/5 for 5 with impending of 5 for 2 mana. And when it enters or attacks, mill 4 cards, then you may return a non-avatar creature card or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. So it's kind of filling that Grisly Salvage role that you find in the Abzan version of this. So you put this down for 2 mana, you mill 4 cards, hopefully mill a vehicle, maybe return a Greasefang to your hand, and yeah, and then you do eventually get a creature if the game goes long as well. And then the rest of the deck, I mean, we've pretty much covered it all, but you know, there's a Duress for some additional hand disruption, a couple of Bitter Triumphs as well, a removal spell with a discard outlet on it. So yeah, as you can see, lots of cards which let you discard cards. And then another win condition, sadly also relying on the graveyard, is Croxer. So the Titan, the black-red Titan, that when it enters or attacks, each opponent discards a card, and then we can exile cards for our graveyard later to bring it back permanently. In terms of our mana base, so we are running a kind of full gamut of the Mardu-coloured lands, none of the tri-lands, because we do want to be able to cast stuff on turn 1 most of the time. We are running 1 Elegant Parlour just to give us some surveil value. A Swamp as our basic land, and then a Takenuma as well. The channel ability on this does occasionally come in handy, bringing back a Greasefang or whatever it may be from the graveyard. Then in the sideboard, so we have a couple of Deafening Silences, so a way of shutting down Phoenix decks and things like that. Portable Hole, so this is a good way at hitting some of the opponent's early plays, as well as some of the better graveyard hate in the format, so Unlicensed Hearse, Rest in Peace, that kind of thing. We've also got Vanishing Verse for that, and hitting things like Leyline of the Void. Duress, if we can kind of get those cards out of the opponent's hand early in the game, then we don't have to worry about them. Dark Betrayal is a new card, actually, from Pioneer Masters, but good at destroying opposing black creatures. Reckon a Bankbuster, another vehicle that we can potentially reanimate, but also a card draw engine, and then we have some targeted graveyard hate of our own. Obviously, we want to leave our graveyard alone, so we have a couple of unlicensed hearses as well. And having this stuff in vehicle form, given the kind of theme of the deck, is often not unhelpful, and an unlicensed hearse that's exiled 6 or 8 cards can put in some pretty powerful damage. So yeah, that is the deck. You may well have seen Greasefang before. I've certainly played it on the channel before, but not quite in this form, so we shall see how this does. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, as always, and yeah, let's go on to the ladder. Yeah, this is a strong opening hand. The Overlords will start doing their thing. We can disrupt our opponent early. Yep, this is pretty good. So we don't have either of our combo pieces yet, but we can hopefully build up to that. Show me a hand. Okay, what am I taking here? I think I am going to take their Swift Spear. Now let's get Blood Tithe Harvester down. Now they've got a choice here about whether to play their Emberheart Challenger. No? Okay, that's pretty good. Fine, well, we'll get an Overlord into play. Sky Sovereign's pretty good, so let's grab a Fear of Missing Out. Slightly broadcasting that I have a Greasefang in my hand. It's fine by me. So we'll take a chunk of damage here, but how long have they got to play this? Until end of turn. Okay, so they can't attack us, command me. Which is good to know, isn't it? Is it worth taking the life loss? I don't think so. Let's just Greasefang, play a land. Crew. They're not going to do me 12 damage this turn. Probably. Very unlikely now. Next turn I can just Fear of Missing Out. Well, they got 2 monstrous rages, which is pretty good, but they are dead now, so... Yep. As I suspected, relatively simple game 1. So, Thoughtseize we do not want in this matchup, it's too life intensive. But we do want Portable Hole, we will take a Vanishing Verse as well. And I think that will do. I'm mulling over Deafening Silence, but just think it's 1 mana we're not using on anything better, so... do I want Duress? Probably not. Let's take that out and have another Vanishing Verse. anything that acts as creature removal is good here, so... I haven't changed my avatar in a while. Maybe I should. One land, but all of the interaction in the world. No. Okay, well... better hope for the best here. No, I think we could chill on Portable Hole and just hold up Fatal Push. Okay. So let's push the Swift Spear. Are we sticking the Coyote in a hole? Don't think so. I think we can just chill on Push and Vanishing Verse here. Just see what they do. Yes. Okay, that's pretty good. I'll give them a chance to cast something. Looks like they're going to, so we'll respond with Fatal Push. Okay, that's a pretty good interaction. I would like to not draw any more lands, though, please, and actually draw some of my threats. Question mark. Well, it's not really what I had in mind, but we'll play it. It's a creature. The opponent's not got much going on either, so we'll just keep playing land. I mean, I've got removal for days, but... Looks like we're both in the same boat here. 6 lands each in decks which really don't need that many lands. Okay, Burning Tree Emissary is a card that exists. Okay, well that can go in a hole. I said that can go in a hole. Thank you. And I'll hold on to the land just in case I find something I could use to redraw. Yeah, it could happen. These don't have a colour, do they? No. It's sad. What? Harvester! Just redraw with our blood token. Oh look, more land. That's exciting. No double block is good. Means they don't have any decent pump spells. Well, they may do. Actually, yeah. Okay, fine. They're going to Monstrous Rage that. So that is definitely colourless, isn't it? But yeah. Darn. Oh well, it's a 2 for 1. Kind of. It's a 1.5 for 1. Heartfire Hero. Well, almost on course for hard casting that. So vanish their Heartfire Hero. Leave our Harvester alive. Fear of missing out is okay here. It can just put her. Well, if I draw a Parhelion here, at least I have I can hardcast it. Let's go. We'll bring back. Let's bring back Overlord of the Balemurk. And a Harvester. We'll do double attacks. I think this is the first time I've managed to do a double attack with a fear of missing out. That's exciting. Well, that was extremely painful, but we did manage to win, so... Good-o. Still waiting for a successful Parhelion moment. Elegant Parlor. Heh, go away, 4th copy of Concealed Courtyard. Nobody wants you here. So this looks like the Overlord version of this deck, so well, we'll give them an Overlord to think about. Overlord of the Flood Pits. Sure thing. Don't think we need 3 copies of Blood Tithe Harvester. Beanstalk. Yep, that's good. It's a turn they're not casting an Overlord. Well, that's very sus if you ask me. Do I have any vehicles in the graveyard? No. No, I do not. Okay, in which case, let's send in some attackers. Fire off another Harvester. Basically, let's just make our Harvesters big enough to kill their Overlords, is kind of where we're going with this. And not use our blood if we can avoid it. not happy about that. Da-da-da. Capsule's flanker. Okay. Well, let's... because we're not really going to get a chance to use it otherwise, so let's ditch a Greasefang here. Fire off a Fatal Push. I don't like it, but I accept it. And I'll just get another Harvester into play here. Well, they've got plenty of removal of their own. Just Yorion is fine. So let's kill that. Fire off a duress on the opponent. Yep, take Vanishing Verse. Croxer them. And we'll need this extra land for recasting Croxer. So they can cast Yorion and they'll get a lot of cards out of it. Yeah, they're not waiting, that's fine. So they can flicker or blink their up the beanstalk, which gets them another card, but they've only got 2 mana to play with. Yeah. Interesting. I don't know why you do that, you're just giving me another blood token. You don't get the extra card because Up the Beanstalk is a cast trigger. Okay, are we Croxering? I think we probably are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're playing fast aloof with their life total here. And no leyline binding either. Okay, that's not good. We don't like it, go away. What hideous? Okay, they're just getting a 3-drop. I was going to say, what hideous 7-drop could they get with leyline binding? Skyclave Apparition is pretty good. I just need to draw a vehicle here. That's not a vehicle. Don't hate to be that guy, but that's not a vehicle. And neither is that. 22 cards deep, no vehicles. It's a bit tragic, really, isn't it? Oh well, we go again. Yeah, I'll just take the 6 here. Nowhere to run. land. Nothing to do with nowhere to run. How much does that cost to use? Well, I better kill it anyway, just because it's annoying. Alright, let's do or die here, my friend. On Parhelion, now. Thank you. Bring back Parhelion. Yep. Talk about flying by the seat of your pants. So, the opponents on the Yorion, enigmatic overlords, and basically everything. So, I actually think our main deck's reasonably well positioned against what they're doing. I do want Vanishing Verse because it kills their overlords. And I want Duress on the draw, so what, that's 5 cuts I need to make. I think Fatal Push can go. And I'll ditch one Sky Sovereign as well. It doesn't match up hugely well against what their creatures are. Yep, this will do. Early hand disruption. Ooh. How rude. Okay, let's start with Duress, see if we can hit her. Okay, Beanstalk can go. Well, I thought seize them here. Enigmatic can go. Tap land and then Fable next turn. That's all they're doing turn 3. I will take that any day of the week. It's annoying, but not game breaking for us here, I don't think. Okay, that's quite annoying. So we'll get rid of that because it's just not doing anything for us here. A fear of missing out. Ditch a land, draw. Okay. Well, we'll wait a turn just because I don't want to lose my Bitter Triumph. So, actually, no, I don't need to. I'll play that. Ditch another land. Yep, Yorion's not a huge problem for us here, because we can just kill it. I'll take the damage, just in case I draw something that lets us keep a Parhelion hanging around. But I think now we're just hoping that this is enough to kill them. Which it probably should be. Yeah, Zur by itself is just fine. Overlord. So the mill doesn't get us anything. So let's just copy Fear of Missing Out. Discard Parhelion. Okay, Vanishing Verse will win us the game. Excellent. No. Yes. kind of. Well, let's get rid of push here until we know what we're dealing with, I think. Although it's such a good removal spell. Yeah. Let's just stick with our plan A. Should have kept the fatal push. I'll never live this down. Terrible fear of missing out. Don't know about you. Yeah, I'm not falling for that. Okay, good. They're short of land, so I think let's chill a little, play Fable of the Mirror Breaker, say go. So it's 5 damage, which I don't love. Ditch the land here. Push that. Stick an Overlord into play. No chronic shortage of vehicles in this universe that we live in, but we have activated our fear of missing out. So the opponent's playing Boros Auras, so I think, or like Boros aggro, so I think it's probably pretty similar sideboarding to what we did against the Gruul deck. So Portable Hole in, a couple of Vanishing Verses in, Thoughtseize out, one Bitter Triumph out. Yep, that'll do. Too slow. Better, still not great. We'll put back Greasefang here. So let's take a sneaky peek in their hand. Don't like facing down an Eidolon, but Battlefield Forge is fine here. Ditch Sky Sovereign. We might potentially be able to get that back again. Okay. I feel like I let them get away with that. Probably shouldn't have done. However, this will cause us no end of delight. Okay, nicely played. I mean, fortunately, I can still crew just using both creatures. So I can still kill both of theirs. And I'm on 13. They've got nothing but land. Yeah, we're in a pretty good spot here. Yeah, that really doesn't do anything at this point in the game, so... Fable of the Mirror Breaker with Fatal Push available to us. And that's game. Cool. Okay, well, we swiftly dispatched that opponent. Yeah. Greasefang got some game to it here. I do like this Mardu build. I think the Overlords are good. The Fear of Missing Out is very good. And you seem to be able to get to Delirium more reliably. Yeah, I think this is a good build for Greasefang. Some potent stuff going on there. So yeah, that's 3 games now. Probably a relatively shorter video, this one, just because that third match was quite short, but you kind of got a sense of how the deck works. We didn't actually Parhelion that often. Did we ever actually attack with a Parhelion? I'm not sure we did. But the deck could kind of work around it. Sky Sovereign did some good work. I think one opponent conceded, didn't they, in response to a Parhelion coming back. So not we would have done. But yeah, you know, this deck has game. You know, these are good cards. These are good cards that on their own they don't need the combo to necessarily work. You know, they are powerful cards which are in other decks. So yeah, there's a lot going for this. Let me know what you think in the comments. Here's the deck list one more time. Thanks very much for watching. Hit those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.